With overall cases in the country still on the low side, one infectious disease expert thinks it's time to lift the state of emergency in the Philippines. But the health department warns of, quote, operational implications if the state of public emergency gets lifted. And Turkey is hoping to rebrand its global image, starting with an official name change. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know to jumpstart your weekend. I'm Riza Diaz. Prices of basic goods and commodities continue to rise as the world grapples with a shortage in food supply. Now with this, one group is calling on the next administration to use their emergency powers to address the issue. Shaila Francisco has the report.
Budgeting has become a challenge for some local shoppers as prices of several grocery items continue to rise. Jacqueline sticks to a 2,000 to 2,500 peso budget when doing grocery. But now she has no choice but to cut some products in her list.
Mahirap kasi may iba ka pang gastusin, may mga estudyante.
A supermarket association noted that prices of some items such as coffee, instant noodles, milk, cooking oil and sugar are now up by at least 1 to 2 pesos. Some increase in tranches, while others hike every other month.
Sa dami ng items sa supermarket, pakunti na lang medyo hindi nagtaas.
Even worse is that those products under the suggested retail price could also increase its prices. But the Trade Department said it's up to the next administration if they will give it the go signal. Stakeholders are calling on the incoming administration to prioritize local manufacturing and agriculture to lessen dependence on imports. Farmers and consumer groups have echoed the recommendation.
Yung epekto nung pagpapatuloy, liberalisasyon sa ating agrikultura na talagang pinapasok na todo-todo yung products ay nagresulta ng displacement sa ating mga food security frontliners.
The United Broilers Racers Association meanwhile suggests President-elect Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to sit as acting agriculture secretary, at least while he is still waiting for a suitable candidate.
It is a national security matter. And it is an emergency situation. Kailangan natin yung kapangyarihan ng Office of the President para madali yung galaw dyan sa pagbabago ng Department of Agriculture. Walang kumpiyansa ang sektor sa governance ng Department of Agriculture at lalong-lalo na hawak siya ng mga ekonomista na ang paniwala ay import liberalization at anti-production.
Insyang added that the agriculture sector has lost its confidence in the department, so a change in its governing body is a must. Shaila Francisco, WR1 News.
The health department has detected the first 2 cases of the Omicron BA.5 subvariant in the country. The agency says the patients were from the same household in Central Luzon. Both have unknown exposure and no travel history outside the country. They were also fully vaccinated with booster shots. They are now tagged as recovered, while one of their close contacts has manifested COVID symptoms, but has yet to be confirmed if the close contact is also infected with the new subvariant. One health expert says it may be time to lift the COVID-19 state of emergency in the country as infections remain low. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us a front seat to the story.
More than 2 years since the country was put on lockdown because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and infectious diseases experts say it's time to lift the state of emergency in the country.
You compare 2020, 2021, and 2022, napakalaking difference na. Ang mga kaso natin ngayon has been stabilized to less than 200, no?
Lifting the state of emergency would mean further loosening up of travel and capacity restrictions. In addition, this would also mean COVID vaccines would then be available commercially for those who want or need. Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneur Joey Concepcion points out that the country has already gone back to pre-pandemic times.
By declaring that the Philippines is not in a health state of emergency, gives greater confidence that we have succeeded as a nation to really control this virus.
Concepcion also urges the resumption of face-to-face classes, as this will help revive small businesses. But both Solante and Concepcion agree that health protocols should continue. Face masks could still be mandatory indoors, but optional for outdoors. There's been an uptick of COVID cases in the past month, although daily average remains less than 200, and hospitalization remains at a safe level. Because of this, Solante is confident that the wall of immunity will hold.
Siguro, we have to treat this as something na endemic in a way na maluwagan na natin in terms of yung economic activities.
Vaccine and booster rollout have been sluggish lately, and there are concerns over waning vaccine immunity. That is why Solante and Concepcion urges the public to still get the jab, even after we emerge from the COVID emergency. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro, we are One News.
Meanwhile, the Health Department warns that there may be operational implications if the state of emergency is lifted. Speaking to the big story, Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeres said the state of emergency allows for the use of vaccines and drugs under emergency use authorization. She added that they will have to wait for cases to stabilize before recommending the possible lifting of the state of emergency.
Declaration of state of calamity, we can use our vaccines under EUA and also the other drugs that we use for COVID-19. Also, for the procurement of these different commodities that we have right now, we base it on the state of calamity proclamation and the different policies attached to that. So there are operational implications as well. So this is being discussed right now, and maybe we can be able to recommend once the trend of cases would stabilize and we can really see the true picture.
Vergeres also said that new Omicron sub-variants and low booster turnouts have to be considered before lifting the state of emergency. She added that cases may surge up to 7,000 per day if the booster coverage remains low.
Based from our projections, we will have a peak of cases towards the end of July and maybe early August if this continues on. If there is still waning immunity, meaning that we will maintain this very slow pace of booster shots here in the country, we will see around 7,000 plus cases, average daily cases.
Now here's the biggest news stories we're following across the world. Turkey will now be called Turkiye in the United Nations moving forward. The UN finally agreed to the rebranding following months of campaigns on the part of Turkey. Turkey's foreign minister, Mevlut Çavuşoğlu, says the name change will increase the brand value of their country. Meanwhile, Ukraine marked 100 days since the Russians invaded the country. This as Russia announced that it has captured 20% of Ukraine. But Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky says his country's military forces will still fend off the Russian invasion, adding that Ukraine will be victorious in this war. All over the world, chicken meat prices are increasing. This Bloomberg report tells us how various global events affect one of the world's favorite meats. Let's watch this.
Chicken is the most consumed meat in the world, but you've probably realized that prices of your favorite chicken dishes, from chicken wings to buffalo wings to fried chicken, are increasing. Here's why. First, war in Ukraine. Ukraine is a major producer of corn and wheat, which is the main feed source for chicken. The war in Ukraine has appended this, causing prices to increase and making it more expensive to feed and rear chickens. Second, bird flu. Avian influenza, or bird flu, has swept through major producing regions. The result has been mass culls as farmers struggled to halt the spread. In the US alone, over 38 million chickens and turkeys have been killed since February. The UK faced its largest ever outbreak of bird flu last October. Third, food protectionism. With feed costs soaring and chicken prices on the rise globally, countries are taking steps to safeguard domestic supplies. In an extreme example, Malaysia halted chicken exports from June 1st to ease surging food costs and ensure adequate domestic supplies. That has caused alarm in Lanska, Singapore, which considers Hainanese chicken rice to be its national dish and depends on its neighbour for a fresh supply of birds. This dish can be found in every dining spot in Singapore and consists of rice, poached chicken, and also a garlic chili dip. Malaysia's move has left Singapore's stores selling chicken rice in limbo. Consumers are apprehensive about whether they will still be able to enjoy their favourite meal. So, what's the impact? Chicken's affordability was what helped it become the world's meat of choice. But now, servings of chicken wings in the US are going for twice what they cost a few years ago. And a UK supermarket chain warned that meat could soon become as expensive as beef. The extra costs will translate to even more pain for consumers at a time when prices of most other food products are on the rise, including wheat, dairy, and cooking oils. All this means people will have to pay more or forgo their favourite chicken dishes until supply stabilizes.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.